Bonjour, bienvenue au French Tech Podcast. Welcome to the French Tech Podcast recording here at the Asia Startup Summit organized by the French Chamber of Commerce and La French Tech Singapore. Very happy to welcome Sofia from BNP Paribas, who is the head of transaction banking.
Bonjour.
Welcome, bonjour. Can I ask you to quickly introduce yourself and explain to us what transaction banking is?
Sure. Sofia, as you said, 20-year banker, all with BNP Paribas, and this is my 10th year in Asia Pacific.
Wow.
And I spent 10 years in Paris with the group. So as you said, I am managing what we call transaction banking for BNP Paribas in Southeast Asia. First, maybe Southeast Asia for BNP Paribas is 5 countries, so we're based in Singapore.
Okay. Yeah.
But we cover with on-the-ground staff and full banking license for other countries apart from Singapore, so Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam. And you'll see that's very important to be locally present and relevant in the type of business that we do. So transaction banking is, in a nutshell, helping corporate treasurers manage their daily life.
All right.
We are the main stakeholder of a corporate treasurer. We manage their payments out. We manage their collections in.
Right.
We try to match that for them. We manage their excess liquidity. We give them back their data. We report on where they are. We manage their bank accounts. We manage as well their short-term funding requirements, usually for trade finance, through direct documentary solutions that we have, your LCs, letters of credit or guarantees that we issue, but also working capital optimization, where we try to manage their working capital cycle through solutions, typically discounting of receivables or financing of suppliers. So it's really the short-term working capital cycle of the treasurer and trying to help them navigate that in the context of all the changes that are going on today.
So let me unpack that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that might make perfect sense if you're a banker. So me coming from a startup world, I don't know all of these terms, right? So let's talk about pain points. The pain points that you're trying to solve for your clients. So I'm a corporate treasurer. What kind of pain points do I have and how do you help me solve them?
So a corporate treasurer main and core mission is to manage the liquidity of a corporate.
Right.
That's the most important thing. So around that, you need to make sure that you have enough liquidity at any point in time to pay out your suppliers, to pay your payroll for your salaries, to pay for investments because the CEO and the board decided for an investment.
Right.
But also, in the same time, having enough liquidity to have to be able to pay out all that, but also rationalize that liquidity because you don't want to have liquidity sitting on the bank accounts doing nothing. So it's both sides. So you have to have enough liquidity to pay out, but you also have to make sure that you don't keep liquidity dormant in your account without anything. So in the same time, we help them on the other side place excess liquidity, we call excess liquidity, into investments or lend it to sister companies or to the group that needs money, you know, or use it as invest it long term because you have a strategy in the next 6 months there is a capital injection or something somewhere. So it's that's the mission statement of a treasurer is the security of the liquidity of a company, but in the same time making sure that you are smart enough to not leave it dormant. So here comes a transaction banker that looks at your working capital with you and try to advise you on a regular basis. Honestly, I say on a daily basis, knowing your strategy to say what is the best model you should have.
Yeah, because that's not like a one-shot thing, right? So I guess there's a tension there. You want some liquidity. You want enough liquidity, not too much. So you help them balance that risk and help them with placing some of that money, but in a way that's presumably still sufficiently...
Yeah, because you need to kind of know what is available for short-term investment, what is available for long-term investment, what can be locked down, what could be available, so you kind of offer a spectrum of solution that that's why it's very important to understand your client strategy and to understand where they want to go. We deal with them on a daily basis, but we also want to know what's happening in 1 year, in 2 years, in 5 years. Because all that comes into one solution that is built up. But in the same time, things change very fast. We are in Asia. We know
Right.
things change all the time. So you have new regulation coming in. You have to be nimble. You have to be agile and be able to switch with your client into new decisions, because there is an FX regulation that came in.
Right,
There
right.
is, and we are in countries, typically for me in Southeast Asia, where the currencies are regulated. We call it
Exactly.
trapped
Yeah.
cash. How are you gonna manage your
Yeah,
trapped
yeah, yeah,
cash?
yeah.
So you have to know all that. So we want to deal with our clients on a daily basis, but also we want to be their core advisor into navigating this this part.
Well, so you help them navigate all the risks of the ecosystem, regulation that you mentioned. Help them navigate also their strategic roadmap when it comes to cash, right, and liquidity. And I guess that requires a very intimate relationship with
Yeah.
your client. I assume that it's not something that you can just build overnight, and the longer you work with a client, the more efficient you become, I guess.
No, you are the trusted advisor. So
Yeah.
you are really not only the banker, you are the trusted advisor. You are
Right.
managing the most important asset of a corporate, it's liquidity. A corporate could be as successful as possible. Liquidity could really be a big problem for any corporate tomorrow. So you are managing really a very, very important component of their survival. So you have to be a trusted advisor. And typically what we see, a relationship between a transaction bank and a corporate client is long term. A lot of our
Right, yeah,
clients
yeah.
will put it back
Mm.
through mandates and bidding for other banks to come in and take the business. But usually the minimum relationship is 5 years.
I see. Yeah, yeah.
Because on top of all this advisory and work that we do, there is a lot of technology around that. It's cemented through technology. In order for me to be able to interact with my clients on a daily basis, of course you talk to the client, but you also have to have seamless communication of data. So the technology part is very important, and it takes a long time to implement
Right,
and to
yeah,
connect,
yeah.
marry the both organization in terms of data circulation and systems. So that's quite a heavy project, and when it's locked, it takes a long time to unlock it. So usually the cycle is 5 to 10 years.
Interesting.
That's,
Very
that's
interesting.
very long.
Well, I think it's very interesting to talk about these matters, even though it may seem like they're oriented towards corporates. France has a very strong ambition, as you might know. 2025, we want 25 French unicorns, right?
Yeah.
And they might need your services, right?
Sure.
Once they become a unicorn.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely very interesting.
Yeah.
You've spent 10 years here in Asia,
Yes.
if I remember correctly.
Singapore, all of them in Singapore.
all of them in
Singapore
Singapore.
is
Wow,
quite
wow,
is
wow.
the hub, honestly. And I like to say that when you are based in Singapore, you're basically based in an airplane.
Yeah, I completely agree.
You
Yeah.
travel so much that yeah.
Exactly. You travel so much, you see the entire region.
Yes, and
And,
everything
yeah.
is near. Singapore, Shanghai is 6 hours.
Very
Tokyo,
close.
yeah. So it's very well placed to be able to cover Asia.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to
Thank
talk to us
you.
today. Really appreciate
Really
it.
nice meeting you. Thank
And
you.
please enjoy the rest of the Asia Startup Summit here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.